Thank you for watching the show, and we are back with some requests. And some of you will say, Frans, is this company still alive? Is it still going? Can you remember the Blackberry phone? Yes, they still alive. I mean, this share was, can you believe it, on its heyday? I don't even want to go. Ooh, can you believe that in 2021, can you believe it? It went as high as $25. It's now trading at $5.86. So it just shows you that there was a bit of a sell-off here. But of course, if we've got a request on Blackberry, we will look at it. And for me personally, look at this. There's a low, there's a low, there's a higher low, higher low, higher low. Well, the chart looks quite convincing to me. It looks like that there's definitely some momentum. The only thing that worries me is that if I do this, let's have a look there. Oopsie daisy. This support line is on the test now, and that's at 584. And if I do that, then I can see there's a small rising wedge here. And what do we see here from there? A top, a lower high, maybe another lower high. So I'll be very, very nervous below $5.84. I will not buy it unless it starts to bounce off here and it gives us a new higher low above 622. Then we will know that the momentum is slowly but surely starting to turn around. But for the moment, I'm just a little bit nervous. Maybe the viewer asked about this to say, Frans, I want to buy it. And what is this viewer? He probably see this rising wedge here, and he say, listen, if the share, there's our target. If the share goes down to, let's get that level, there you are. If the share gets to that level, and that will be 507, then we see a double bottom, and that's maybe where he wants to buy it. And where's his stop loss? His stop loss will be the low of that level. That's $4.85. Maybe that's a good plan. I don't know. For me, I'm a little bit nervous because in this market, I don't want shares after it's been sold off just going up a little bit and then maybe lose momentum. I want shares that's building a base, starting to do higher lows, maybe give me a nice inverse head and shoulder or a falling wedge that's on the brink of breaking up, and maybe I can get the target and from there higher lows. But also remember, maybe some of these shares has been bought in anticipation. Everybody will look through the interest rates. Nobody will worry about inflation. And then suddenly, maybe in a month or two, we see a different story. Because if I look at some of the earnings of the overseas companies, it looks like that the American market is telling us that some of those big companies are starting to worry a little bit about the future. And maybe we can see that in the charts, maybe already or maybe later on. That's time will tell us. Let's look at Grupo Financiero Galicia. Wow, what a name. I mean, I'm definitely not French, but I think there's a lady that will probably tell us how to pronounce that, and that is definitely Mrs. Julieta Levy. But it doesn't matter, Julieta. I've tried my best to Grupo Financiero Galicia. Whoa. Okay, so let's see. First of all, ugly sell-off here. The share came all the way from $11. It's now around $6. But what I like about the share, and that's what I said earlier on, I like the share that is being sold off. And what do we see? We maybe see the first little sign here of a higher low in the making. And yes, there's the resistance line. Resistance is sitting at 645 and it's closed at 646. If it stays above that, for me, it is a buy. Above 646, it's a buy. My stop loss will be $5.92. And where can the share go to? I mean, it can go to 672. It can actually go to 722. For me, a nice target will be this resistance. If it gets there, let's just see where that is. Get a target there. There you are. It can maybe go all the way. There you are. Let's just draw this line in. Can you believe it? If this share really starts to go, there's the place where it can maybe meet a strong resistance, and that will be at $7.52. So this chart looks okay. Nice tight stop loss, higher low in place. seen an ugly sell-off. Maybe the company can turn around. But what this also tells us, look at in April, the share was at around $11, it fell to $6. It just shows you how overpriced those shares were in the American market, and even some in our market, before all this news broke of the higher inflation and the ticking up of interest rates. Wow, look like the Bitcoin traders have realized that we do, talking technical, we do Bitcoin often, and I mean, I was flooded with requests this week. Please just do Bitcoin again. And I think it's because I was quite excited about it a few weeks ago. I saw there was a little bit of a bounce, but I mean, the bounce was there and it went up all the way to 23,520. Now starting to struggle and it's now 21,000. Let's just see. I mean, for the Bitcoin buyers, I just want to show there's the strong support. I mean, strong support sits at 19,105. So yes, it can maybe consolidate above this line. It can maybe go back to 19,100 to give us a proper buy again. But for me, look at that. There's a low. There's like a higher low. There's definitely a higher low there. Put back, as long as it doesn't go below this little low there. Let's just draw this line in there, then everybody can see that. As long as this little support holds here, there's the support. There you are. As long as that support holds at 20,713, we've still got this higher low scenario in place. Where will I buy it? I mean, first of all, I will not buy it because I don't believe in Bitcoin. But where will I buy it? I will probably, if I'm a trader, I'll buy it close to this level. I'll use my stop loss of 19,420. And yes, of course, if it breaks this line and we know that this is maybe a higher low in place there, where can it go to? I mean, if it goes from there, it can easily do that exact extension. Wow, to 26,462. So it just shows you there is some potential in Bitcoin, but we're at an inflection point. Below this level, I'll be nervous. Below that level, of course, definitely, because then it can maybe go to 17,000, because you can remember we had that ugly head and shoulder formation that actually told us that Bitcoin can go much, much, much lower if it starts to play out. And I can maybe just show you guys. I mean, there's the trading of the last few weeks, but let's just have a look here. Look at this head and shoulder formation here. I mean, can you believe it? I just want to join that line there. I mean, I hope I'm wrong here, because I know there's a lot of people that trades Bitcoin. And I mean, there's the head and shoulder. There's the head. There's the neckline. There's the neckline. And where can it go to? Well, can you believe it? It can go back to 19,000. I like that chart then. If it goes back to that 19,000 and it plays out there and there's a double bottom, then maybe for the Bitcoin buyers amongst us, then I think get in and you can maybe nibble around there again. Someone have asked me about Richemont, and he said to me he's a long-term investor in Richemont, but he's seeing a head and shoulder. Can I confirm that? Well, if we look at this, we may be busy with a head and shoulder. Here you are. But I can maybe tell that reader, remember, there we are. We're a little bit above this right shoulder. That's positive. The share bounced off this level of 156. And because he was nervous, if this head and shoulder formation plays out, he can see Richemont maybe, and remember, he's now a long-term investor in the company. He can see the share going down to 90 Rand. That can happen, but I must be honest with you, with a company that's got so much cash behind them, I doubt if that will be the case, unless something horribly goes wrong. We've seen that, but I've seen over the years, in actual fact, if Richemont comes back a little bit, there's always fund managers to buy it, because these guys got the knowledge to turn a business around, to suss out new businesses, to buy new products, to actually have a niche market. So for me, I like the company. In actual fact, if you haven't got the company, I will look at that level, and there you are. There's the top of that resistance. There you are. And if we can get above 192.59, the share can actually go higher, and then you've got a nice tight stop loss of 177.61. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. It can happen that this head and shoulder formation can play it, but I can bet you $1 if this head and shoulder formation plays out, our market in general will be much lower, our top 40. Reason being, Richemont is one of the big players in that composite, and I doubt if it will happen. But I've seen in markets, it can happen. Well, Vanguard Real Estate. Remember, Vanguard is one of the biggest fund management companies in the world, and they do a lot of exchange-traded funds. And I mean, if you believe that the overseas estate market or real estate market offers some value, this is maybe an exchange-traded fund that you can look into. Well, first of all, I want to show it pulled back. There you are. It pulled back a lot. I mean, from above 116 all the way down to 87. And now what we see a low. We see a beautiful higher low. It has been confirmed above 93.43. So for those viewers that wants exposure to the overseas real estate market and they like this chart, I still see some lower highs, but I mean, this is the first little blip that I see that makes me positive. And sometimes with this waterfall formation, you get a beautiful V reversal. But I think if you do buy there, make use of a stop loss of 91.42. That's for a short-term view. For me personally, if I buy an exchange-traded fund, it's usually for the medium to a long term. I usually accumulate it over time, and I'm not perturbed if it triggered my stop loss because I've got a longer term view. And this, I think, with Vanguard Real Estate must be exactly the same. If you buy in there, you must say, listen, I pump in money there over a period of time. While it is consolidating, I just sit on it because you believe in the theme. You believe it can improve. Well, thank you for watching this show. Visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.